Alright guys, welcome back to another episode Up and Running. Thanks for watching. Alright, on today's episode, we're going to start to work on that. It's a, looks like an 81 Z28, but it does not run, so we'll see if we can get it going.
I'll close the door.
And look at that, it's a 4-speed car with T-tops. Alright, so we got this car pushed in, so let's take a walk around it, take a look at it, see what's going on with it. Let's open the door, look at the interior. Oh, that ignition box is just on the floor. That's super awesome. We'll take some time too and figure out if this is a real Z28 or not. It's got a lot of Z28 stuff on it. If you look, like the gas door, that's a Z28 gas door. There's the same thing in the grill. It's got the right fenders and fender louvers on it. This is a 81, I believe. I'm going to verify that. Alright, so if we look at the VIN on this car, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but it is a 17-digit VIN, and the 10th digit is a B, as in boy. So that does say that it's a 1981. 81 is the first year for the 17-digit VIN as well, and you can see it was last run in 2003. So let's take a look and see what's under the hood of this thing. So far the body on this car seems to be pretty solid. Oh, and somebody put a big old thumper in it. That is a big block Chevrolet. I do not know what size it is, so that's also something we can hopefully figure out, you know, as to what's going on in there, what they got going on. Here you can see the Z28 emblem on the front. Alright, let's take a look at a couple things in here. Anything in the power steering bucket? Looks pretty dry, but let me shine a light down in there. It appears to be fairly dry, so we'll definitely want to pour something in there. Let's take a look at the brakes. Oh, that's nice. Well, there does appear to be fluid in here. Alright, we'll worry about that later. Let's go look and see if there's any oil in it. There is oil. Let's see if we can see where it is. That's how much. There's the full mark right there by my thumbnail. Let me smell it once. It just smells like old oil. I don't smell any gas in it. Let's see if they bothered to put a transmission tube in it. I don't see one. Let me grab a different light here and let's take a look. Oh, it's a manual transmission. Ha! Duh! So no, there's no automatic transmission tube in it. It's got a new Never Start battery in it. Let's see if there's any coolant in it. See a little green right there. And there is green in it. So, alright. That's good. Alright, so another thing that I noticed right off is that there is not any fuel line hooked up to it. Let's take this super clean air cleaner off and see what we got here. Alright, look at that thing. Looks like this has got a holly hiding underneath it. Look at the distributor on it once here. Okay, there's no wires going to the distributor to power it, so we're going to have to look into that, figure out what's going on there. There is a coil in it over there. Alright, let's see what else is going on here. Oh, is there a key in this thing? Let's look and see if there's a key. Alright, we have one key. Let's kind of looking around a little bit to see if we see a round key anywhere. You don't suppose they left it back here, do you? Let's see. Oh, it is. Oh, here's some like door panels and stuff. This car actually looks pretty solid. Yeah. A little bit of stuff going on right over here. But, you know, not horrible. A little bit there. A little bit on the trunk lid. Let's see if this opens. Oh, that doesn't feel like it's connected. So that's going to be something else we'll have to mess with. Let me turn the key on, see if anything happens. Oh, and it's got a key buzzer. Excellent. Somebody put a digital dash in it. Right about 12 volts in it. We got headlights. Let's see if we got tail lights. Yep. Let me see what we got in the front. No side marker. Missing one headlight there. So one's working, one's out. Well, it's got a tilt column in it. I'm not going to try the wipers because there's no wiper arms on here. I don't want to scratch up the windshield. It does not appear like the windshield's broken, so I don't want to screw it up. So, all right. Well, that'll about do it for the walk around. I'll start doing some checking stuff out, checking the numbers. I really don't know these cars that well. And we'll see what we can do about getting it running. All right, so I'm having Will jump in there to see if anything happens if we turn the key on this. We had the buzzer and the dash lit up. Go ahead and give her a crank. See what happens. I know it's not going to start. Oh, so it does turn over, and I didn't hear anything horrible. Go ahead and crank it a little more.
All the way down.
All right, that sounds pretty good. I didn't hear any galloping, like where it's got a dead cylinder or anything like that. So it sounded pretty uniform. So hopefully that is a good sign for us. And so I guess the first thing we're going to do is see if we can get some power to the distributor and see what happens. See if it does anything. I'll pour a little gas in there and we'll see if it pops. All right, so a couple other things I noticed here. I mentioned that there's no fuel hooked up. This is the fuel right there, and it goes back to a fuel pressure regulator and then goes down to the back of the car. So there must be a pump back underneath there somewhere And then, because the other thing is, if you look down in there, let me see if I can get the light down there, you see that silver plate, that's where the fuel pump normally goes, and they've got it blocked off. So there's definitely, the plan maybe is to have another fuel pump. Now I'm going to show you guys a little secret down here too, if I can get the camera down here and the light. Okay, so see that bolt right there, the top one, that one, not that one. But when you go to put a fuel pump in these cars, all Chevys and GM, the GM Chevys have them. If you take that top bolt out, you can shove a screwdriver in there, and that holds the rod that goes from the fuel pump to the cam. So that way, you know, if you get caught, you don't have grease or, you know, whatever else or other trick you have. If you pull that bolt out, you can stick something in there and hold that rod up in the block. So that's thought you guys might find that interesting. The first thing I'm going to do is try to figure out this ignition wire. I'm going to see if I can somehow get back in here, see what's going on. Let me see about getting some other light back here. So that little box on the side of the distributor is where you need to put power. If you look, one of these says TAC and one says BAT for battery. That's the one that it goes in. And so I think that's it right there. That is probably it right here. So I'll check the voltage on that. It should be battery voltage. And then it looks like there's a whole bunch of garbage down in here, like the critters got down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and blow that all out as well. So we can see the number on the block then, so we can figure out what this is out of. The other thing on here is there's a pad on the front of the block right over here. It's kind of hard to see with the alternator, but if you look way down in there, right down there, there's a long elongated pad, and there should be numbers on that as well, and that'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on, you know, what this engine is, what it came out of, what year it is, all that stuff. So let's get blowing that garbage out of the back of the engine area. All right, so we are going to use the big long blow gun to get back there to clean this out. That's how long this thing is. So that way I can stand way back out of the way and blow all the stuff out of it. I don't even have to be in the same room. Alright, so I'm going to look way back here. Let me see if you guys can see it. Way back on the block, back in here, there is a number. I got it cleaned off, and it says 3999289. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my Chevy stuff and look that up and see exactly what that is. Alright, so I cleaned up that pad down there a little bit. Let me see if I can get you in there to see it. I don't know, but it says 10716XCH. So again, I'm going to go and look that up and see what I can figure out that it means. I just can't get the camera down in there enough to tell, but I'll look it up and let you know what it is. Alright, so I pulled the wire up that I found laying down in all the stuff, and I turned the key on, so there should be battery voltage here, and there is 12.7 volts. So now all I have to do is plug it into the battery terminal on the distributor, and we should have power to the distributor at that point. So let me go ahead and plug that in real quick. Alright, so I just went ahead and pulled a nest out of this area right by the distributor here to find that the the wires out of the distributor are chewed off at the distributor, so I'm kind of thinking I might put a distributor in it yet. I gotta see what I have, and if I got another good distributor, I think I'll just put one in. And oh, we'll see right here.
Brand new
I
one.
think we got one right here. So. Alright, so I threw this car up in the air so we could kind of take a look underneath it to see what's going on under here. See what kind of condition this car is in. Looks like it's a pretty solid car overall. I mean, I don't see any major issues. There's a little bit right there, a little bit there. I got a hoop on the drive shaft. Well, they got some ladder bars in it. See your basic old Camaro rear end. A lot of times this panel's all rotted out. It looks pretty good. Bottoms of the quarters are real nice. You can get some pretty good tire in the back of these old Camaros. Yeah, just a couple spots here and there, but I mean overall this isn't a bad car. Look at that shield they've got on the bell housing there. Looks like it's adapted from something. All right, well, let's get back at it and see if we can make this thing run. All right, I am going to pull this rotor off. I'm looking like there's some pieces laying in the distributor, which is a little concerning, but let's see what's going on down here. So one thing about Ford, they just drop the rotor on where GMs bolt them on or screw them on. Looks like that's maybe part of the electronics or something. Looks like there's something missing out of here too. I'm not sure. That's what that is laying there. Alright, I couldn't find my distributor wrench, so I'm just going to use this. It seems to be working alright. I'm taking the bolt out that holds the distributor in. And we'll get that other distributor dropped down in there. Oh, that is stuck. Yeah, I think we got everything. It's just... Oh, there it goes. Alright, let's see if we can get this down in there. I set the engine at top dead center. I think we're off. Oh, this can only go in. Okay, that's down all the way. Let me look at this compared to the other one once real quick. It seems like we're off just a hair here. The other one was more this way, but I don't know what kind of distributor that is or what the deal is with it. I might have to, I think I'm going to, because the rotor was over here a little bit more, I think I'm going to see if I can turn the oil pump a little bit and put it in like that. Alright, let's get this distributor put back on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and crank this. I had to put the battery charger on it. It was pretty low. So if you just go ahead and watch that and see if we get any spark. Hopefully we do. I don't see any. No spark. All right. I have a feeling there's a wiring issue up there somewhere. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so if you remember on the other distributor, we had a purple and green wire that were chewed off there. And then here is where they are. They're laying on this car. This was a different type of distributor that plugged into the electronics on the top. This is a aftermarket, and this goes through the firewall right there, and this is going to be super awesome. We walk around here. They've got an MSD box in here, and you can see there's the green and purple wires going into that box. So I've got to figure out what's going on with this. It's probably going to take me a little bit. I'm not a wiring guru by any stretch of the imagination. So I'll come back when I get that all figured out. I don't want to bore you guys with me just searching for stuff for a long time. All right, I'm going to try to do a little detective work, and hopefully this works. So if you look right there is the oil pressure sending unit, that kind of gold colored thing. And then right, it screws into a fitting that's a pretty good sized fitting. I wish I could get a really good shot of it, but that looks to be a really big fitting. And then if we come over here, let me see if I can get the phone all the way up in here. Get some light on it now. So that plug right there, that orange plug, is also a really big fitting. And let me get the foam back out of here. And then right over there is a smaller one where that rod bolts into the block. So with those two being big, one at the oil pressure sending unit and the one next to it, I'm pretty sure that means it's a 4-bolt main. I think it would be the smaller, just like the oil pressure sending unit size, if it was a 2-bolt main. So just another clue. We got a little rain last night. You can see the creek's really hauling the mail through here. Looks like it was probably up to about where I'm standing, so it was probably another 2 feet deeper. So it's gone down some already. You can kind of see it in the weeds over there, I think. Okay, so I thought about this, took a look at it. If you notice, there's no terminals inside this cap. So I don't know, there must not be a coil in there, I'm assuming, because it's this coil. So I think there's I was kind of trying to use 2 different ignition systems here. So I'm just getting a new cap and coil for this, and then everything should be good. So I think that's what was going on, is I needed to abandon some stuff. So, all right, well, we'll get working on this and see if we get spark. All right, so I've got the new cap and coil and all that stuff in. I think everything is set up for factory now, and we've abandoned everything else. So let's go ahead and see if this thing's got spark. All right, so you guys keep an eye on the spark tester, and we're going to see if we have spark. Hopefully we do. Oh, would you look at that? Good spark. Victory. All right, let's pour some gas in it and see if it goes. All right, I'm going to shoot a little gas down the carb here. And the key is on in the car, so I'm going to hit it and see what happens. shoot a little more fuel in. It popped in there. Probably going to take a pretty big drink. Got a pop. All right, we'll give this another try. All right, here we go again. What the hell is that?
Clutch, maybe.
Yeah, let it go like that?
Doesn't it sound like it's down around the clutch area?
Yeah, it's like back here somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe we'll lift it up and look, because he said something's hanging. So maybe that could have something to do with it.
Let's see if the wheels are moving. That's why I lifted it, so in case the wheels were going.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What do you think on timing?
You're close with at the
That's
end.
what I
there.
think too, yeah.
How about the wheels?
No. It's squirting.
I mean, it's
There.
hard to tell, but
Yeah, there's definitely a noise down there.
yeah, let's raise it and see what is hanging.
Yeah.
I did see something hanging.
Well, the good news is it ran a little bit.
Yeah.
The motor actually sounds good. Up we go. All right, so you heard that clunking noise that we heard down here, and we came down here to see what it is, and looky there. That is not good.
Somebody did one last burnout.
Somebody did one big old burnout with it, and
It was a long time ago because there's no oil dripping.
yeah, tore it all up. So, I'm no expert, but I think that's a problem. All right, it blew a bunch of mouse stuff out all the way out here. And looks like there was a little lizard dude in it too. So, fun stuff. All right, so what we have here is a base model Camaro with T-top, so that's kind of cool. Blue with a blue interior, and it had a 305 V8 in it. So at least it had a V8, not just a 6-cylinder. It shows to be a Z28, but it is not. It is just a base model. This tells you that when you're looking at these cars, guys, just be sure to, look at them closely, check all the numbers, so you know what you're getting, because you don't want to end up, paying, too much money for something that a car is not. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right, guys, so I said I'd identify this engine, and, after I took a look at all the numbers and everything. So the number on the back of the block is 3999289, and then on the pad right up on the front of the engine on the passenger side, the pad that's right down in there, that one comes out to T as in Tom 0716 XCH, like X-ray Charlie Henry. And then the date code on this block, which is way back down in here, I can't see the first digits because of the bell housing that they use, that scatter shield. There's extra bolts. I think there's an adapter on it. So I can tell there's something, and then there's a 2, and then there's a space, and 74. So I'll let you pause the video if you guys want to look this up and see what you think this is. Go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to give the answer here right now. So now, I'm not an expert on these engines, but from what the research that I've done, and I also phoned a friend up in the St. Louis area and asked him his opinion on it. There's one more little bit of information that I'll give you. Down in here where the oil filter bolts on, there's some holes, and the holes are the bigger set versus, there's some of the big blocks have a smaller hole and some have a bigger hole. These have the bigger holes. So go ahead and pause it and look it up and see what you think it is. All right, so in my opinion on this, like I said, I'm not a big expert on these, but what I think this is a 1974 crate engine. It's a LS7 crate engine is what I feel it is, and from the factory they rated those at 500 horse. So it's a pretty strong engine, assuming I'm correct, but I really think I am. And so it would have been assembled on July 16th. That's what the T in that second number that I gave you is Tonawanda, New York Engine Assembly Plant, and then 0716 is July 16th, and then the XCH is the LS7 engine. And then on that date code there would be a letter and then the 2. Now there might be 2 digits there, like for example, this, and what this is the date the block was made. If it was the 2nd of the month, there'd just be a 2. If it was the 22nd of the month, there'd be a 22. But so whatever's buried, I can't tell if there's 1 or 2 digits under there. And then the space in 74, which is 74. So that's what that is. The 3999289 is the casting number for the block, which is a 70s big block. I don't know the exact date range on that, but then those big holes that I talked about down by the oil filter, there's a small set on some big blocks, and then there's a larger set on some big blocks. And the larger set means 4-bolt mains, which jives with this being a LS7 motor. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Up and Running. It's kind of looking like at this point that the owner's not going to want to do any more on this car. So I wish we'd have got it to run for a little longer, but what little we did, it sounded pretty good. So anyway, I want to say thanks for watching, and be sure to come back next time.